What is up, Team Happy and Fit? Happy Tuesday. It is my favorite day of the week. Seriously, I mean that. And I just wanted to have a love rally today with our team and just come together. There's just so much going on. And as Will Smith said, like, it's just getting recorded. It's always been happening. And I don't know. I need to tell you my heart is that I love this journey because it doesn't play favorites. It doesn't segregate. Like this journey we're on of health and happiness and supporting each other and championing each other and wanting the best for each other and dreaming big. I just feel like this opportunity doesn't, it's all equal. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that what we represent and what we stand for as a team is unity. And that we all have different stories. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different upbringings, all different experiences, seasons, hardships, and all the things. And I just love that this team just wants everyone to be their best. And unfortunately, out in the world, that isn't the case. That there's a lot of hatred and there's a lot of racism, and that there's also a lot of people sweeping things under the rug and not saying anything. And it could be too also not knowing what to say, feeling shameful and just feeling insecure with that. And I think that just having the conversation helps of just like, I don't know what to say. I want to say something, or I'm acknowledging that this is wrong. And I just want to have the conversation. I felt different emotions. I mean, for a long time, but specifically this whole week of just brokenness of my friend Britt put this so well, like even broken crayons color. And I just like, that's the hope I'm clinging to. And I just am very thankful. I'm so thankful that our team wants to love rally and just wants to make a difference and wants to speak up. And I just want you to know I'm here for you. And I just felt like as a leader and as someone who envisioned a community 6 years ago, I didn't envision it to be only white, only Black, only 25-year-olds, only teachers, only women, only this or that. I seriously just envisioned a space of people that could tap into limitless potential. That no matter what anyone else said, that if they could just find their voice, that they had a place to share it. And that they could be loved for being them, but most importantly, that they could find love within themselves. And so setting out to create Happy and Fit 6 years ago, I was working in the inner city of Milwaukee and loving my students and families, but struggling with my own self-care and not loving myself completely, right? And so as I envisioned this team that didn't exist yet, I just thought about what would I want it to look like? What would I want it to feel like? What would I want it to be like? And I just wanted it to be a space of action, a space of integrity, a space of people just wanting to bet on themselves and not put their limitations in their way, but actually acknowledge them and say, okay, like, how can I grow from this? And so thank you for being a part of this community. This community is more than fitness and nutrition. This community is what I hope to be, just a light in your life. And I hope you just know that all are welcomed here, and that you just need to know where I stand. And I am not going to be quiet about that, because, and if someone can't get down with that on Happy and Fit, it's not the space for you, because that's not why this place was created. This space in this community was created to link arms. And I hope it's the most colorful amount of God's painted picture of arms. And so I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This love rally is integrity. This love rally is just the start. And I just think that the future of our team and your impact and what you're doing is so much larger than I think any of us could even begin to imagine. Is when you can, for 1 second, just think about the purpose beyond your paycheck, the purpose beyond your workout and nutrition and own goals, but like that you legitimately get to be a ray of sunshine on someone's news feed every day when it could be just filled with a lot of hate and judgment, that you can share a story that maybe gives someone else hope that's felt hopeless, that maybe you being brave enough to put yourself out there allows other people to do the same thing. And I just think that that is what we're doing. And sometimes we can't see it. And I don't think we necessarily need to. It's just the fact that you're willing to, that you're willing to be brave, that you're willing to share your story. And everyone's story here is so powerful. So with everything going on, I just wanted to say I love you. I'm acknowledging the hurt and the pain and all the emotions that I definitely have been feeling. And so I love you all so much. And I cannot wait to take our picture at the end. And again, this is just the beginning. Thank you for being a part of this community with me. I love you all so much. I'm going to transition into, we have had a lot of momentum on the team and it is just like blowing me away. The Compound Effect is Real. If you've not read that book, that was the book. Lauren's like, can you share about like how you had so much belief in the beginning? Because I really did. Like, it was like I signed up and then I had all the belief, and like, how was that? I really read The Compound Effect right away. And that book changed my whole perspective on everything we do. There's a compound effect of drinking Shakeology every day, the nutritional benefits of that. There's the compound effect when you surround your circle with positive people. There's a compound effect to that. When you stop ordering coffee, and there's a compound effect to that, to your finances, right? And so when I just realized that this whole business was just built off the compound effect, I just took getting myself together very seriously. Drinking Shakeology, doing a workout program, sharing my story on social media, expanding my network, connecting with others. I knew that it would compound into something really big. And this has just gotten to be so amazing, and that there are going to be people that walk into your life this year that you would not have known if it weren't for social media and this team and this journey. Isn't that super cool to think about? All because of that. And so I'm very excited about the momentum. And so Lauren Lundberg is here to introduce one of her coaches that just made a decision. That's really all it is. And so if you're looking for some kind of momentum or ideas on how you can make this work, I hope that speaks to you tonight. Lauren Lundberg has been with me since the beginning. I was a newly enrolled coach. She was the only person in the organization, it was very small back then, that was willing to even post on social media and do this thing. And so I just acted like I knew what I was doing and I didn't, and she just decided to do it with me. So Lauren, thanks for being here. I can't wait for you to introduce Ashley.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to piggyback off of that, because I asked Julianne to share with a few of my newer coaches how she had so much belief at the beginning of the business. And I need you to understand that not every coach's journey is going to be that way. A coach can decide at any given time, years into the business, that they want to do something with this, and they can take action and just change it. So Julianne went right in right away. I remember being really inspired by her. And when I started, she was like, yeah, I do this. I am making $500 a month. It's paying for this, this, and this. Income disclaimer, Beachbody doesn't guarantee any level of success. She hustled and worked really hard for that. But that motivated me to do that. But tonight, I'm so excited to introduce to you one of my coaches and really good friends, Ashley Klofke. She, her and I grew up together. She was a few years younger than me. I got to know her when we were really, really little. Like, my mom used to cut her hair and her mom's hair, and we would play together while her mom was getting a haircut. So we go way back. But Ashley is going to kind of share some of her stories, and I'm just going to kind of ask some questions. And she just reached diamond rank a few weeks ago. Last month, she locked it in, and she did it in a super fast, a super short amount of time when you actually look at the amount of work that she put in. And so I'm so excited for her to get to share that with you. So Ashley, can you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us where you're from and tell us where you started. How did Beachbody come into your life?
Sure. Ashley Klofke. I grew up in Charles City, but now live in a small town in central Iowa called Alden. I ended up here due to my now husband. We dated through college. I was in college. He's a smidgen older, but so I dated him through college. I went to Iowa State and have a degree in accounting. So now I have two little girls. One is actually, they were born on the same day. Kenzie and her are birthday buddies. They were born on the same day. So that's super exciting. And my youngest is 6 months. So I'm working from home with two small children. That has been super exciting. And yes, that's the reason I went Diamond, was because I was home with my girls and I decided I didn't really want to work anymore outside the home. So that's kind of where my Diamond journey began. I had told Lauren multiple times that I wanted to be Diamond and I just didn't put the effort in. You put in mediocre effort and that's what you're going to get out of it. So my Beachbody journey did not start with Lauren. I had a couple other coaches before that. And people would come and ask me and I would say, sure, I'll join. I'll buy a challenge pack. I will do the workouts for a few months and not see results. And then I would just kind of fall to the wayside. I always bought Shakeology and never drank it. I didn't like the taste. And I was one of those that said, I'm not putting any extra ingredients into it because I don't want to spend any extra money on it. Well, come to find out, I love adding stuff to it now and drink it every day. It doesn't matter what, I mean, the recipes that you can find are phenomenal. So, where was I at? I was a challenger with Lauren for a few months, and was yo-yoing working out. I would work out sometimes, I wouldn't. And I think that was because I wasn't seeing results, but if you're not going to put the effort into it and you're not going to see anything come out of it. So she asked me to be a coach and I thought, I mean, what's there to lose? It's not that much extra money a month. I wasn't really doing the products anyways. And so I'm like, what's it matter? It's $15 a month extra. At that time, our little ones were not super old, but I was like, I need something different. So I joined as a coach for the accountability aspect, and I don't think I've missed a workout since.
I love hearing this story because Ashley was one that I would check in on and she was like, oh, like I fell off again. Like I'm just struggling getting my workouts done. And then I just kept telling her, like, you need to be on this team. And her story is completely why we tell people that coaches get the best results, is because they do. When you decide to be part of this team, you're surrounded by people who are going all in and people who are committed to living fit for life, not just a month. And so for Ashley, I don't know, Ashley, if you can chime in on that a little bit. What was it that being part of the team that made you want to be more consistent?
When I was a challenger, I didn't feel like, not that you weren't checking in on me, but I felt like I could kind of hide under the radar and nobody was really paying attention to me. And it's easy to fail on yourself because I think that we do that a lot. It's easy to not get your workouts done because no one else is seeing you. We're very like wanting other people's to look good upon yourself. I can't even think about anyways. And so once I joined the team, I felt like all these people that were coaches and that had these great teams were now watching me. And I felt like I had more to prove to myself and other people to do something that wasn't just something like working out. It now ended up being such a bigger thing to me. And joining as a coach, you realize all these other people are now in your corner, and it's a non-judgmental community. Everybody wants you to succeed just as much as they want to succeed themselves.
I love that. Yes, write that down, because there are people you are working with right now who feel like they can hide. And if they want to be successful, you want to invite them so they can have success in this too. Okay. What were your biggest hesitations with coaching?
So I felt like for me, coaching was not something that I hesitated against. I needed the accountability, and that's what I joined coaching for. Lauren was very good about saying that there was multiple ways to be a coach. It wasn't you jumped into this coaching community and you had to invite 100 people and build this huge, enormous team and be a leader. That's not what you're looking for at the time, at certain points in your life. That doesn't have to be what it's for. So I jumped in as extra accountability. I didn't hop on calls. Lauren and I had one-on-ones, but that was about the extent of it. I jumped on and did a few, maybe the morning gratitude's been more recently, but I didn't really do a lot of the coaching thing. I did it for myself, and I needed to push myself to go where I needed to go. And then Lauren started planting seeds about maybe inviting people that were like me, or that my story was worth something to be talking about. And so that's when I started coaching, and it was little bits at a time. And I had been Emerald for quite some time before I even decided to go Diamond. But coaching, I think, is something that when I'm inviting to it, always scares me away to talk about. But I need to remember that coaching doesn't have to be about anything more than inviting to this community. People are not necessarily doing just Beachbody workouts. People are not just, this is something that you can invite to as a community, and then you can describe what has helped you, whether it be the supplements, whether it be the workouts, whether it be personal development. I just think it's a great place to plug people into that need the extra accountability and the community, because this world right now, before everything happened in Minneapolis, the pandemic has just been so crushing on people's hearts and minds that it's something that we can bring people into as a light and try and make the world a better place with.
I love that. I think the cool thing about that, hearing your journey, Ashley, is that you really grew your business and your confidence in inches. It was, you first started for yourself. And then I've always said, like, I'm going to push you 5 feet out of your comfort zone. That's something that I always say to my coaches, no matter whether they joined for community or if they are joining because they want to help others in their journey. Ashley was someone who was super coachable. She still is very coachable, and she's resourceful. That's one of the amazing things about her. I always compliment her on that. But just think about that, planting a seed and just saying, like, hey, something that really helped for me was actually sharing my journey, because I had more skin in the game and I didn't want to fail. Maybe you should do that too. So she started doing that. And once she got really comfortable with that, then it's adding, hey, can you think of anyone who would want to do that with you? Would you feel comfortable reaching out to the people who are showing you love on your posts? So I think a lot of times when we're mentoring people, we get really overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, there's 5 million things I need to teach them, but it's one step at a time. It's 1 inch at a time. But the cool thing is that Ashley was so coachable and trusted enough to do those things. So I'm so excited for her to keep answering these questions. Okay, so next one. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this one, your biggest fear with inviting specifically. This one always makes me laugh, but I'm so excited for her to share this. What was your biggest fear with inviting?
My biggest fear with inviting was the fear of not being good enough to coach people, because everybody says to invite to coaching. And at first I was like, I don't really know if I want to push coaching on people. And then you kind of get into the coaching community as a whole, and you realize that just being a challenger is not enough for people to get results. Yes, people do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I feel like being in the community gets people the best results. I was being one of those people. So the fear of not being good enough as a coach was the hardest for me. I grew up in a very average family. Like, we farmed, we went on with our day. Our lives were, quote, as normal can be, but I always felt average. I didn't really push myself to go outside my box. I was decent in school. I was decent at sports. And so I never really had a real good why on why I did things. And so I felt like I chose not to be good at stuff because I didn't really have a reason to be good at stuff. I went out for sports because my friends were doing it and it was something to do. And I don't want to say excel, but I did decent in school because that was what you were supposed to do. I went to college because that was what they always told you to do. Like, I never thought for myself. And so when Lauren was like, you have to invite. And I said, what do you mean I have to invite? Like, can't people just ask me to join off of my posts and my stories? No, people, they do, but they don't do that. So inviting was something that for a really long time I was like, okay, this coaching thing is not for me. Like, I'm just going to share my story and help be accountable with myself, but no inviting. And so I had to get over this whole fear of, you are good enough. And Beachbody is so great. And Julianne and Lauren and everybody has said this multiple times. You don't have to know everything. There's always somebody above you somewhere that knows something that you don't know, that you get to have that resource of asking them, and they're your equal. Like, I don't have to feel like, oh, I can't really ask that question because then I may make more money than them, or I may be a higher rank than them at some point in time, because everybody wants us to succeed. So I think that the fear of not being good enough has definitely been something that I've worked through because there's so many people that I get to communicate with about it.
I think too that, like, you have this fear, but what I want to say is that, sorry, I'm like completely losing my train of thought. Right when I came down here, I was like, crap, I lost it. But so I specifically remember when Ashley started inviting people, it was like avoiding inviting. And she was like, hey, can you teach me how to expand my network? And I'm like, wait, have you asked the people who are liking your posts? No, can you just teach me how do you grow your Instagram? I'm like, you have all of these friends right here. Just ask them. And I think that, like, fear of not being good enough, it can creep in so easily. But Ashley, you just grew a diamond business in like the course of 4 weeks. You guys, like, she did it in 4 weeks. Were those people you already had in your life?
Yes. I don't think a single one is somebody that I didn't know previous to Beachbody. So invite the people that you know. Write it down. Invite the people that you know. Talk to the people. Reconnect, because those are the people that you are most comfortable with, and you, at least starting out, you don't have to connect with it quite as much. You know them a little bit. They know you a little bit. You get to kind of reconnect a little bit, and you can invite them, and they know that you're a genuine person because you know who they are. So yes, that was the biggest learning curve, was stop trying to connect with people you don't know, because that takes so much longer, and reconnect with the people that you do already know, and expand your business on the side, expand your following on the side, I guess.
Yeah. Keep those doors open, but you got to invite the people you already know. I love that story so much. Okay. Okay. I know everyone's dying to know, you just went diamond in like 4 weeks. Tell us about that. What happened in life and how did you make it happen?
So quarantine hit, and I have always been somebody, I went to college for accounting. I have been in public accounting or private accounting, excuse me, since I graduated college in 2013. I was the typical, like, I want to sit in a desk chair. I'm an introvert. I want to sit at my desk and do paperwork, and I don't really have to talk to anybody. I work 9 to 5. I pay my student loans to sit in a chair and be in air conditioning all day and the whole 9 yards. Well, I get home for quarantine. We get to work from home, and I've been able to do things with my daughters that I never would have dreamt of doing. I get to do painting projects. We get to go out and, well, now we can play at the parks, but we get to go outside and we get to bake and we get to do all these things that on the weekends you just don't have time for when you're a working mom, because you're cleaning and you're getting ready and meal prepping and grocery shopping, and you just don't have time. And so I went to Lauren, I think it was the first week of quarantine, and I said, what do I need to do to stay home? Like, where do I need to start? What do I need to do? Because I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to the office setting. I don't want to miss out on all these things that I've missed out with my oldest, and don't want to miss out with the things for my youngest. And so she goes, all right, you go Diamond. And I said, okay, that's it. That's all I need to do. And luckily I had been on this journey for a little bit. And so I wrote up an invite. Thank the Lord for Julianne and her videos, because you don't have to describe anything. Like, you invite, she has it all laid out, you send them the video, and then you go from there. And so I literally hopped on Facebook, and give or take a few people, I went through and invited 15 people per day. I went A through Z on Facebook. It took me 3 weeks, I think, to do that. And so I just kept inviting. I didn't care what people said. I didn't care. I wouldn't even look at responses until the next morning. I just did the 15 invites and then moved on with my vital behaviors. I followed the tracker and I did what I needed to do. And I know warm/cold inviting is not for everybody, but that's where my momentum started, and it was easy to keep going with the momentum of that. And now I feel more confident about connecting with people and starting conversations that way. But it definitely, your mindset has to shift from worrying about what people are going to say to your invite and just inviting, because some people are not in the right place to do it. Some people are willing to join, but there's excuses, and you can try and work through those with people at that time. But if you want to hit your goals and get to the point that you want to get to, you can't care what other people think, because there will definitely be people out there that will join you as long as you just keep inviting. So that's how I started as an Emerald, and that was, I think I maybe had 3 coaches at the time. And so in 4 weeks, I was blessed with a person that wanted to run with the business as well. And so she was willing to go Emerald. I got my husband to Emerald, and then everybody else just kind of filtered in after. So
I think the cool thing too is that your fear was inviting, but once you started doing it and you just set that metric that you were going to do 15 a day and it didn't matter, like you didn't even look. Like, I think so many of us have fallen into that too, of that fear of like, oh my gosh, what are they going to say? Are they going to be upset that I asked them? But that mindset shifted from, I'm not bothering them. I want to help the one person who's ready. And if that takes sending 15 messages a day, I'm willing to do that. And how cool is it that impact them, you inviting someone to open that door and change their life can also help you in your future and help your dream of being able to stay home. I think that is the coolest thing about what we do as coaches, is that impact, lives changed, is what we make an income from. There are so many people out there who make money from doing things that don't make an impact on people. And I love that we get to do that in our jobs. So Meaningful income. Absolutely. Awesome. And 4 weeks, you guys, I think like Ashley was a shaky emerald. Like she had coaches going inactive. One of her solid coaches was her husband, and she just decided to go for it. And her conversations changed. She started doing personal development more often, and her belief just skyrocketed. If you were to look at her conversations now compared to at the beginning of the year, they would look so different because her belief changed.
Can I say one thing? Did you all catch this like I did? She said she went A to Z through her friends list. And how long did it take her? 3 weeks. How long did she hit diamond? 4. Did you all get that? Like, your goal could be just you needing to go through A to Z. Like, that's all she did, and then she went. I just don't think there's really surprises in this and secrets, so okay.
Awesome. Okay, so what would you have for advice for someone who's ready to go all in now?
So I think the mind shift needs to change from wanting to make an income to wanting to help people. I think one of my biggest limiting beliefs was I just needed to sell. And in some companies that works out great, but that's just not what this is about. We need to focus on ourselves. And once we start growing ourselves and our minds and everything else, it kind of just goes along with it. So like Lauren said, I think this is one of the only businesses that you get to work on yourself while helping others work on themselves, and you kind of get to do it together. So I would say you need to talk to people like they're your best friend. You need to, I've heard so many times that how would you ask somebody to go to the movie, or how would you ask somebody to go hang out or have a drink, or whatever the case may be. You just need to talk to them like they're a normal person. The more genuine the conversation, the more trust people will have in you and this business, that they're going to be so much more ready to jump in if they trust you as a person. Don't be afraid of the no's or the people that are going to ghost you, because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Everybody does it. Julian was talking on our call an hour ago, and she goes, I get nervous about inviting 5 people sometimes. So you just have to get over the no's and the ghosts, because they're going to happen. And it's just a mental shift. I think that's the biggest part for me, is just the mental shift. If you aren't mentally ready to jump into this, then you're going to mentally limit yourself to where you go. It's stay connected with your mentor, because I think that if you don't, it's a lot easier to put up those red flags in your head and think that it's this, you don't deserve this, or is it too good to be true, or anything. Those limiting beliefs are really easy to creep in when you start to get closer and closer to your goals, which was I got towards the end, and then I was like, so always lean into somebody, whether it be an accountability buddy or whether it be a mentor or somebody, because you need somebody to kind of like slap you around a little bit and say, it's okay, everybody's been here. Like, don't let your mind be the one that limits you. And this community is the reason that we're coaching, I guess, is the way to put it. But lean in, because there's always going to be someone that has been there and can help you through the hard times if you ever are struggling with something personally or professionally.
So good. Don't let your mind be the one thing that limits you. I loved that. Okay, what's your favorite thing about being part of this community?
So, I've always been an introvert, and so finding friends to me was always something that I just don't have a lot of friends. I don't it's not that I don't trust easily, but it's just, I like to be by myself. I like to hang out with the few people and family that I have, but this group has made me open my mind and heart to so many people that you don't really realize are out there. Like, I would never have met Julianne that's halfway across the country. I would never have met some of these people that are so positive perspectives on life and just everything in general. This group, I feel like fitness is one of those things that there's the stereotype of, like, they're all judgy because they all trying to look a certain way, and they're all trying to lose all this weight and be the perfect size. And I think this community is just a place that you don't have to worry about what's going on in your life. You can vent about the struggles that you have, and someone probably has been through a similar situation, and we've all been able to lean in on each other. It's just a community that I never would have thought I needed. The positivity has just been through the roof. We, even not just Happy and Fit, but the smaller teams that we're all on, we've done small things that, like Disney yoga. I never would have done a yoga class, no less. I was like pregnant at the time. And so it's just little things that we get to do and experience together. I've met people that I never would have come in contact with. And this team has given me such a purpose in life. I'm able to think about bigger dreams. I'm able to do things in my life that I never was able to do before. And being able to think about the bigger picture has been a huge deal breaker for me.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing about the Disney yoga right now. I will post a video to Team Happy and Fit. You guys can see it. If you are in Iowa, there is a lady in Cedar Falls that does classes. Apparently, they also do a class, what did they call it? Where you're like yelling out cuss words. I can't remember what she called it.
Oh, it was like rage or anger.
Rage yoga class or something. You just like, I'm like, how many people would want that after quarantine? I mean, come on. Let it out and move on. Okay, I love this so much. And I think too, this community is just, it's amazing for right now. And Ashley, think about you with wanting to be home full time with your girls. Like, you'll still have this community online, and you're tapped into that. I think so many times as a mom, or if you work from home, it can feel so lonely. Mm-hmm. So I love that we have this here, and it's helped so many of us through this time. So, okay, last question I have for you, and then we can open it up to questions. How has your life changed since you started?
So Lauren had given me these questions beforehand, and I was trying to think about the before and now aspect of things. And I was definitely one of those people that I needed my sleep. I needed to get the 8 or 9 or 10 hours because that's what my body needed, or what I thought. So I went to bed at 8. I was up at 6. I always rushed to get my stuff done, to get out the door in the morning, to get to work. I 95% of the time forgot my lunch, which means grabbing something at the gas station or something like that. I always felt like I had no time. I would get done with work and I would feel exhausted. I had no energy. And so I sat on the couch and watched TV, and I made supper and I went to bed, cleaned up and went to bed. Well, once you prioritize yourself a little bit more, you realize that there's always more things to do in the time that you have. You just have to figure out where your priorities are. And so now with 2 kids, I am up at 4. Pre-quarantine, I would work out at 4 and get ready, and we'd leave the house by 6:30. But I go to bed at 9 and I'm up at 4, which even getting up a little bit earlier in the day, I think makes a huge difference. For me, I'm a morning person and I can get up and get my stuff done. And I feel like my whole day is accomplished if I can get up and get going in the morning. I work out 5 to 6 times a week, and that's a non-negotiable for me. And that has made my days better. It's made me a better communicator. It's made me, I feel like just working out in general just brings my mind to a much better place. Since I've decided to go diamond, I hardly watch TV anymore. And I always joked when you see like the memes or the pictures of people that are successful versus people that aren't as successful. And watching TV was never on the list of people being successful. And I'm like, what are you talking about? People can be successful and watch TV. And now I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to watch TV. I'm reading my personal development. I'm doing my daily devotional. I may have TV in the background, or don't get me wrong, there are times that I watch TV, but for the most part, I can't even tell you what's on TV anymore. Meal prepping is a huge deal for me now. I am not great at nutrition, but to make my nutrition successful, meal prepping is a have to. I say yes to myself more and no to things that don't fulfill me or make things a purpose in my life. And with doing all of this, which is way more than I was doing before, I feel like I have more time and I'm able to utilize my time in a better way.
I'm sorry, I'm like fighting back tears right now because I just remember when we were first talking about you joining the team, I wanted this for you so badly because I knew that this team could change your life. And to hear all of those things and to see where you are today just brings me to tears, because like I could see
don't cry
before you saw it in yourself. And I think that is the power of a coach, is to see that and believe it before someone else can see it in themselves too. And I just am like, I'm so proud of how far you've come and the decisions that you've made in your life to get where you are and to keep going. And this is just the start for you, friend. And I'm just so freaking proud of you.
So good. Like, Ashley, I was messaging Lauren and just saying, like, she's crushing it. Your conviction and I would say, would you all say like seriousness behind her why? Not even just like seriousness of connecting with people or inviting, but like, can you feel the conviction of her why? And she's willing to do whatever it takes with integrity and love to like get there. What is a word that you would describe Ashley after hearing her speak and share her story? Can you share in the comments? Like, what is a word that comes to mind? Fierce, boss, disciplined. Ashley, I want you to absorb this. Determined, go-getter, determined, disciplined, genuine. I want you to let these words soak in. Straightforward. I do love that honesty. Driven, hardworking, caring, consistent, achiever. And I want you, Ashley, to think about, maybe you had some of those characteristics before, I'm sure, right? And I want you to think about how they've amplified on this journey, and or maybe were minimalized before, or maybe towards the wrong thing, because a lot of people work really hard and never see the people they love most. And I love that you can work really hard and be really determined and really driven and really proud and make an impact while still making the time a priority with your favorite people. And Jason said goal setter. Jason, you're amazing, and I love that you're listening. Did he laugh, Laura, that I said his name? Called him out. You're focused, you're driven, and I just think that those qualities are duplicatable for everybody else on here. Like, those qualities are beautiful, Ashley, and like, your story is what makes those qualities even better, of sharing like, you just got serious. You got focused and disciplined on where you wanted to go with your why. And anyone else on this call, like, she straight up said she went, like, that's the biggest thing that like sticks out to me, is that you went through all your, what did you say to them again when you went through A to Z? What did you say? What was like the line?
I typed up a little message just inviting to, I don't even remember what the group was in April or May, but whatever the group was
In this together?
In this together. So I said that we were starting a group in this together. I would love for you to join me. It's a big team group and there's a huge accountability. Would you be willing for me to send you information?
Yeah, I think that's just super simple. And I'm sure like you got unfriended or ghosted and you shared that. And I'm sure people like questioned you, but I'm also certain, since you hit diamond, that people were massively interested. And so then when they said they want more information, did you say, can you tell me more about your goals or background? Or did you just say, hey, watch this video?
I just sent them the video and asked them if it would be okay for me to follow up in a couple days if they hadn't followed up with me before that.
And that's something Lauren uses. So you just took what Lauren uses and it worked. And I think the biggest thing we think is like, all 5 people we invite today have to say yes. And that's like, if you take that number and say no to that, then you set yourself free from that. It's like 1 out of 20, 1 out of 10. It just depends. 1 out of 15. But are you willing to do it? Once you realize that it's like a larger amount, like you have 6 conversations, can you trust that you're getting closer to that yes? So then you send out 100 over the course of time. I'm not into that a day, right? Over the course of time, can you trust that there's 10 yeses in there? Ashley just said, but the thing is, it wasn't like, I'm going to go through A to Z and invite. That's not where it started. It started with, I'm home with my family and I need this. I'm tired of missing out. That is where it started. And then she said, I don't care what anyone says or doesn't say. I'm going to go no matter what. And I think that is so important. 15 a day, you went through A to Z, you sent that out. Something I would say is, hey, Ashley, I realize we're Facebook friends or something and I haven't ever reached out before. I don't know. Or just be like, hey, I don't know if you saw, I have a Get Your Fit Together boot camp coming up where we're going to be focusing on fitness, nutrition, and mindset. Would it be okay to send you more information? And I'm the type that says this, no pressure. I just had to ask. That is like, that's my line at the bottom. No pressure. I just had to ask. When I sent that yesterday, someone said, no, thank you. And I said, hey, totally get it. How are you doing with everything going on right now? For me, it's been ... Then someone said, yes, that would be great. And I was like, awesome. Does Instagram work best for you to send more information? She said it does. I sent her a video. It's a planted seed. Ashley, that is so flipping good. You make our community better, and your drive, and more than anything, like for me, it's your belief and conviction that this could be the answer for your family, because it's been the answer for mine. And it didn't start that way. It all started with me where you're like, you were like, my workouts are non-negotiable, like a duh. There are some people on this call that's not a duh. And like, that's a duh for me. And I think that's it, is like, I've got to get my stuff together and I've got to treat that as my business, is working on myself, because that is where this starts. And I get to work on myself and help other people work on themselves as my job from wherever I want, helping my family and helping other families. So amazing. I'm so excited to see the takeaways in Happy and Fit. Thank you for leading